Let's be real here, you've probably already bought the game if you're watching this, and you've also probably already set your mind in stone whether you think it's good or not. Me, I'm pretty mixed on the game. Did I generally enjoy my time? Yeah. Would I pay $60 for it all over again? No. Not by a long shot, but it's a Nintendo game. Everybody knows at this point you're paying for the brand more than anything else. So what did I like? Well, it'd be easy enough to just say most of it and be done with it and go into my problems. I can praise about 90% of the game. The zones are well crafted and feel alive. The game does a great job guiding the player to each objective without holding your hand, and I think the greatest feather in the game's cap is how fair it is. Not once in my numerous deaths did I ever say, well, that was bullshit. Except for the Emmy sections, but we'll get to those. I liked all the new equipment options. A shame they became pointless really fast. For example, you get a stealth power that is new to the series early on in the game, but the most you do with it is get through a couple of doorways. The game tells you time and time again to use it against the Emmys, but you can avoid them really easily even if you're as bad at the game as I am. They also give you a double jump and then the space jump not too long after. Why even bother with the double jump power-up if we're just going to get the space jump? I appreciate how you can go into Morph Ball with a single button press now. Part of me is wondering if Nintendo deliberately took that idea from AM2R or if it was just a coincidence. I didn't play the official Nintendo remake of Metroid 2, maybe it was in there and they kept it. Either way, it's almost a necessity, I'd argue, at this point. The gameplay is very fast and fluid once you get the hang of it. It almost reminds me of a Capcom Versus game. You know, the type of game where in the beginning you're very slow and clumsy, barely managing to land 5 hits in a succession on a bad guy, but given enough time you're doing infinite jumps around the enemy and not touching the ground until you've landed a 1,000-hit combo. Like I said, most of the game is pretty good. In fact, I only have 2 problems with it. First is the counter mechanic. Can't stand it. You get like a frame or 2 to react to a blinky light. Maybe I'm just older, I'm willing to accept that, but my successful counters on boss creatures came from learning when the counter is going to come over the course of many deaths, instead of reacting to the counter when it comes originally. But I give the counter mechanic a slight pass because for the most part you don't ever have to use it. I think the only time you must counter an attack in order to beat an enemy is when the Parasite Chozos do their spear thing. The far less forgivable sin the game commits, however, are the Emmy zones. I hate these. These Emmy zones alone are why I'm not doing any repeat playthroughs of the game. The idea with these zones is they take away all the fun you were having running around and shooting stuff and being able to proactively tackle problems, and they arbitrarily make you powerless against a slow-moving robot that might as well insta-kill you if it catches you. These segments aren't even particularly difficult, they're just tedious. You can only damage an Emmy after getting a weapon that only appears specifically to fight the Emmys, and then disappears after you finish that Emmy, and trying to aim the damn thing with joysticks is a nightmare. The sections wouldn't be nearly as bad if I could somehow use a mouse to do the precise aiming the later Emmy fights require, but as it stands right now, these segments alone are enough to make me wish I could refund the game. And that's why I haven't called this video a Go Play, because I'm not sure if I can recommend it if there's certain segments of the game I loathe so much to the point I want to refund it. Metroid Dread is like a 10 out of 10 supermodel suddenly throwing herself at you only for you to discover she has gonorrhea. Yeah, you can have your fun with her and catch it, and get better later with medication, but is the pain and discharge gonna be worth it? Screw it, I'll let you decide your own life. In the meantime, go out there and treat each other like you have some sense.